by UCAN. I'm Yusuf Aljabri. Today I am at Loop Capital Markets here with its president, Kourtney Gibson, to talk about careers in business and finance. Thank you first for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Ms. Gibson, would you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about Loop Capital Markets and what it is that you do here?
Sure. So I'm Kourtney Gibson, as you mentioned, and I'm president of Loop Capital Markets. We're one of the largest privately held investment banks in the country and the largest minority-owned investment banking firm. So what we do here at Loop Capital is we underwrite on behalf of institutions ranging from public institutions like the City of Chicago and Chicago Public Schools through corporations like the Exelons of the world based right here in Chicago. And we also trade stocks and bonds in the secondary market. So we trade stocks and bonds on behalf of institutional investors across the country, ranging in size from the BlackRocks of the world, which is the largest asset manager on the planet, all the way through smaller asset management firms that maybe you've never even heard of before. So we are an investment bank and brokerage firm.
Oh, cool. So did you always plan to go into finance? And if not, what changed your mind?
Absolutely not. I was going to be a bilingual pediatrician. And then I went down to undergrad at the University of Miami, and I got into the business school. I tested in after taking some IB courses and otherwise, and I said, well, this business thing could be interesting. I was fortunate enough to actually have interned here at Loop Capital when I was 16 years old. And so I had an introduction to business and finance, but I still was actually going to be a doctor initially. And after taking some business courses and continuing to intern here, as well as having interned at Morgan Stanley in New York, I decided this might be the path I want to pursue. And so I decided to stick with finance, majoring in international finance and marketing, and minor in business law. You always have to know the legal side of things, and have been at Loop Capital ever since.
So what kind of jobs are there at Loop Capital here?
Mm-hmm. You take your pick. So when you think about an investment bank, there are a lot of things that make it go, from the technology and working in IT to the accounting and finance functions that we have here, through marketing, through creative writing. There are a lot of things you can do here, and that's not even on the business side yet. So on the business side, there are a number of opportunities. So the entry-level point, generally speaking, is our analyst program, which we have here at Loop Capital. And from the analyst level, you go into being an associate, through a VP, SVP, managing director. As a matter of fact, if you wanted to come be CEO here one day, the door is open for anyone who has the will, the aptitude, and the integrity to get the job done. So there are a number of things that you can do here at the firm. So also from a specific perspective, we have bankers, we have traders, we have salespeople on the business side. And like I said, on the administrative side, it's human resources, accounting, legal, IT, marketing, you name it.
So what should someone like me who aspires to be into business and finance do right now as they prepare for future careers?
The number one thing you start with, and I don't care if you want to go be the CEO of a company or you want to, go do something totally outside of finance, number one is your education. If you can get the grades right, that sets the stage to opening the door for you to anything that you want to do. In addition to that education, you need integrity. People have to know and believe that you're a person of your word and that you do the right thing. Don't ever sacrifice that for anything. Everything else will follow suit, but you have to have integrity and you have to work hard. So as you're working hard, whether that's at school or whether that's in after-school programs, doing the best, being the best will help to shape your future, in my humble opinion, to be able to open the doors for you on the business side of things.
So what was your motivation, throughout your college years, and how did that get you to where you are today in terms of your career?
What motivates me?
Yeah.
So I am a woman of faith and family. So my faith is, I'm very strong in my faith, and I love my family, and I feel like that I need to be successful in order to make sure that I can make my family successful and generations to come. So that motivates me. I want to be the best that I can be for, and it sounds really cliche, but for the world, ultimately. If I can do my little part in this little thing called life, hopefully I can impact this world in a positive way.
So I've seen that you are a regular guest on CNBC.
Yeah.
So how is that, being the face of Loop Capital Market, and is there any pressure, when you go on that show and you have to represent the company?
There's tons of pressure. Not only am I feeling like I represent the company, but there are a lot more weights that I feel are on my back at any given point in time. And so I'm nervous every time I go on. But that nervousness actually forces me to prepare. When you think about the fact that there are young girls and young boys that are looking on that screen, and I may be the only person of color or the only woman that's a person of color that they see that entire day on that network, it's important to me that I make sure they understand that they can do this too. And that I'm up there doing just as much and saying and being as on top of it as all the other gentlemen that are sitting around me at those tables at any given point in time.
How do you see the financial industry being, very important to Chicago in the future?
I think the financial services industry is a part of the fabric of this community. Aside from the money that moves within a lot of these institutions, the financial institutions have an obligation and an ability, and candidly, they've been stepping up to the plate around actually working with communities. If you think about a lot of the non-for-profits that are here in the city, you think about a lot of the different entities that help and give back, whether that be internships, donations, different programs. Many of those boards consist of people that come from the financial services industry, from the Jim Reynolds of the world to the John Rogers of the world to a myriad of other CEOs that are across this city, and they really do get behind wanting to make Chicago the epicenter of financial services and make sure that everyone is participating in that economic development.
Do you think it is important to find the minority youth that are interested in finance, and try to teach them things they may not be exposed to, coming from the places that they do?
Definitely, right? So many of the institutions across the city have internship programs. I actually sit on the board of the Chicago Scholars Foundation, where we just started and launched a program called Emerge, which helps to place students of color, first-gen students, low-income students, into companies across the city to expose them to financial markets and otherwise. Loop Capital, I'm sitting in living proof of an internship program. I think back to when I started interning, the CEO paid me out of his pocket. John Rogers and Melody Hobson over at Ariel, they've started a school. So when you think about, again, the commitment here and the desire for, in particular, minority students to have exposure to this business, we are following suit via not only our wallets, but also our time, effort, and energy to make sure that we're not the last faces you see of color in these seats, that you continue to see it growing, and that we continue to grow and foster students across the city.
So thank you very much, Ms. Gibson, for being here today and allowing us to interview you. This is Chicago's Tomorrow, Interview Chicago's Today, brought to you by UCAN. I'm Yusuf Aljabri. Thank you.